I want you guys to admire my little drawing here, okay? But there's a reason why I drew it this way, all right? Because I'm going to be talking about the subconscious mind. And the reason why this is such an important topic is because the subconscious mind is basically responsible for 95% of your life. And the subconscious mind, I've spoken a lot about masculine and feminine energy. And I've also told you how important this is. And when you look at Nikola Tesla telling you, like, if you want to know the secrets to the universe, think of energy, frequency, and vibration, there's a reason for that. Because when you look at the energetic side of things, there's only two energies. There's masculine and feminine. So when you look at anything else saying that there's more than that, it's no different than somebody saying there's more than one gender, where it's just male and female, okay? But even though you see the word male and female, you categorize those as sexes. Even when you say gender is man and woman, it still has the word man, just like it has the word male at the end of, the sexes and whatnot. And that's because we're in a realm of light. Light is masculine. But I want you to see something real carefully, okay? You see how you got your two eyes? All right, you got one black eye, one white eye. You got the mind, and then you got the subconscious mind at the bottom. And when you see your reality, okay, you're looking at it basically like this. This is the sky. These are your eyes, and you're basically looking at a flat plane like this. But there is no round or flat earth. Everything just quantifies as you're observing it. All right, so everything's basically collapsing into existence based on what you believe it to be so. That's why there's so many debates of people saying they see the world round, and another one will say they'll see it flat. But everything will just continue to play out and manifest as you believe it to be so. And the reason I want to talk about this is because I had a religious person come to my house and say, start speaking about the word of God and whatnot. And, they can't answer a simple question as far as to things that I've genuinely, throughout my journey, questioned. And that is, what is a soul and what is a spirit, right? So it's basically, this whole thing about Christ and God and all that. It's all ideas, right? And when you put your belief into something, you're giving it soul. So now it's a spiritual idea, right? Because you're breathing the breath of life into it. You're breathing life into an idea, and it comes to life. All right. When you look at this, for example, the mind, like reality being Maya and whatnot, you notice how truth is right in your face, right? It's in plain sight, right in front of your nose, okay? You see the tree, you see the roots, you see the man, the woman, and the kid, the cat, the dog, the birds, the fish, okay? I want you to look at this carefully, even as you're observing your world, all right? The woman is considered the neck or the body of the church, okay? This is why the woman is considered the subconscious mind, the feminine energy. All right, the subconscious mind takes everything literal. The conscious mind is supposed to guide the imbalanced negative aspects into light and do this by transmuting or reprogramming it. But this takes awareness. That's the part of you that's God, the awareness. So when a person comes to me and starts talking to me about God, they have knowledge of God. But are they aware of God? Do they know God? Right? Do you know yourself? How well do you know yourself? Because if you know yourself, you'll realize that whatever they're speaking of, as far as the idea of God, you are that manifestation of that God that they are speaking of. Okay? So whenever somebody tells you about Christ, all that, it's a consciousness. But that consciousness requires an awareness. Okay, you could be conscious, but you're not aware. Then you're just going about the motions, and this is you being in feminine energy because you're in your subconscious programmed mind. Where when you start to become aware, the conscious mind is the limited part of yourself, but it's the part of yourself that guides that powerhouse underneath to basically change your life. So it appears that the feminine energy has no power here, that the man is stronger than the woman and whatnot. And yeah, because the subconscious mind is in charge of your life, but it only is open to receiving. That's it. The conscious mind is the gatekeeper. It appears to have more power because it will make the decisions consciously. But if you're not aware, then you're no different than the subconscious mind that's just taking suggestions and whatnot without the awareness. You're just letting anything bypass the conscious mind, getting into the subconscious mind. All right. Now, when you see, let's say, for example, you see a black man, okay? A black man is the physical manifestation of feminine energy. And it's not to say that a black man, let me turn the camera over. It's not to say that a black man is feminine, right? Like you're thinking of it as a gender, all right? Because in actuality, it's even known that a black man usually has more athletic capabilities and even higher testosterone levels than a white man. And when you see it this way, you say, well, it's the physical manifestation of feminine energy. How is it that they have stronger masculine traits, right? So when you look at the white man would have less of those qualities, but they have more of the ability to guide the negative feminine energy, which is why they are superior in this realm to the black man, supposedly, because of them basically controlling and running things here, right? And they would say that the black people just weren't structured and organized, and they let white people basically take over and steal all of black man's history, which is nothing but stories and ideas that you were fed into your mind. Because in actuality, even the white people you think are in power, they're ruled by the black negative energy anyway, by feminine energy. You just don't see it, right? That's the ones behind the curtain that you don't see. You see Donald Trump, you see all these people in power. These are not really the people in power. They're just the face, the masculine under control, okay, by the feminine energy. And this is not true masculinity. This is actually feminine energy. It's the physical manifestation of your ego, you thinking you're a man, that you're not really the man. You know what I'm saying? It's like somebody saying, I'm God and I'm a man, I'm the man. I mean, are you really? Are you really? You know what I'm saying? Or is that your ego saying that you are God and you are the man, right? So in actuality, you would see these people in power as that physical aspect of yourself, and you give credence and energy to these people, thinking that they're going to change your life somehow by voting and by taking sides, that somehow they're going to change the world by the decisions they're taking, by changing tax laws and all this shit. That's all you're doing. You're creating your reality for your ego to keep thriving. When you become aware of this, you just stop paying attention to these things. You are truly getting in touch with your feminine energy. And then you're born again of the Father from there. Because this is why the Virgin Mary gave birth to Christ. She didn't get fucked by anybody physically, right? So what are you doing? You're born again of, the feminine energy without being touched. You are basically rising from the dead, because this is the realm of the dead, basically, the walking dead. Everybody's alive, they're aware, but the same way we have Maya and illusion, it's the illusion of what you think life is, right? So you're living the lie. People are afraid of death, when in actuality, that's why when you die, they go to your wake. And when you see this, you say, well, I'm living, but am I really living? Or am I just existing in a state or a form that I'm not aware of? Even though you think you're aware, because you think your name is this, and you think you're a human, you think you're this color, you think you're this gender. But in actuality, you're not. So you're living in the living life of the lie. So the same way everything else is a lie, and you are the truth, you're managing chemistry here. It's just a blueprint, and it's going to manifest as examples outside of yourself. So when I say animals like dogs and cats are feminine energy, they are feminine energy, but they can also support you, right? Because if you look at it, they are basically the stability and foundation of your life. Look at the tree. The tree has a root system. They stabilize the tree. They bring nutrients to the tree. But in kind, the tree has to bring nutrients down to the root system from what's above. So it's working symbiotically. That's masculine and feminine energy underneath, right? So when you look at, humans, right? A woman supports the man, or a woman is submissive to the man, right? So a man basically gets supported by the woman as far as, if a man has an idea, the woman nurtures that idea, and they both go to work as a symbiotic team to basically thrive in society, right? Dogs, cats can support a man too. See, a dog is feminine energy, even though it's man's best friend, is the positive side of that feminine energy, right? So you would see that the black man is the negative side, but it supports masculinity, right? Just like the white man is masculine energy physically, but supports more of the feminine energy, which is why I made the example of black people are really white people and whatnot. And how Brother Panic said that the white man needs for a black woman to love him in order for him to ascend spiritually, right? So this is basically the white man knowing the feminine nature, and because that's happening, that's how it appears that the patriarchal system has guidance over the feminine energy. But you see this manifested in your reality by the sun actually having order over the chaotic nature of the feminine planet. It's manifesting in that way because that's the order. In order for you to exist, it's the way it has to be. But in order for you to become the man, you would have to see what the uses of the black negative side is. Religion teaches you to discard it or demonize these things, but it's not. It's all integration, right? It's the same way science and spirituality was separated, right? Science being the masculine side, spirituality being the feminine side. So now you separate it into science and spirituality, and they can't coexist together. When in actuality, if you knew how to make that work, your life would change, right? When you learn to integrate how man and woman would work together, look at the excitements of how it works when you're growing up. You try to impress a girl, right? You visually fix yourself up. You would act a certain way around her. You try to persuade her with smooth talking and whatnot. Repetition, right? You would basically do this. You try to impress a girl. It's the same way you impress your subconscious mind, because the reason that you're trying to get with this girl is you're trying to get yourself into her head, right? And then afterwards, what's the physical way? Then you guys physically become one, right? So that's the end goal, is for you to get in her physically. It's the same way when you look at MMA fights. It starts trash talking. You get into your opponent's head. And then afterwards, you beat your opponent physically in the octagon or in the ring. When you get busy with a girl, you say you beat that ass, right? You, in Spanish, right? They'll say, oh, se la comió o me la comí. You know what I'm saying? Or, and here's the crazy part though. When you are having sex or making love or intercourse, however you want to call it, you're looking at the vagina, and the vagina is technically eating the penis. She's eating you up. She's eating your spine. Your penis is your spine, right? And what comes out is basically your cum. And that is, there's many debates about this, but when you really observe it, it actually is, okay? Your cerebral spinal fluid, this fluid actually travels through your brain, right? And then you implant that into the vagina of the woman, right? So these things have traveled through your brain. They're basically ideas. That's why when you have a child, it's an idea, right? And it's important to know what's on your mind in order for this to be planted into your female. No different than if I have a seed, I know what I'm planting on the ground, so I know what tree I'm gonna grow to bear a certain type of fruit. And the whole thing is that when you eat these fruits, you're supposed to have a certain altered state of consciousness as well. But you too drugged up with the GMO foods and the all the snacking and all the artificial foods that you're not even aware when you have a slight rush of true life force energy when you eat a fruit off of a plant like recently. Because I had this rush just eating eggs that just came out of a chicken, and I ate these eggs raw within minutes. And the rush that you get is like something that you have to actually experience yourself. But this all depends on the individual too, you know. I've made this example even when you drink your own piss. There's a certain rush of energy that you get. Why? Because it's living water. It was in you circulating. You buy waters from a bottle and it's basically just sitting there. It's dead water, considered dead water. You could reprogram the water though and add life to the water, right? So it's the same way when you look at this realm, you're adding life to this realm, but it may be positive or negative experiences, meaning in the form of favorable or unfavorable. And it's just based on what you're giving energy to and what you're bringing life to. So I had a Christian person come to my house and start to preach the word of God and, you know, try to get me to, you know, join the church and whatnot. But they can't answer like simple questions that I had coming along the way when I was really truly searching for truth. And truth is God. That's basically the truth. But the truth is you. And when you're aligned with truth, you can see the lie outside of you. But you learn to integrate that to actually make it work for you. Because you're the truth, but you have to live in a realm that's ran on polarities. So you are separate from the environment. Just like you have man and woman, that's the physical manifestation of negative and positive, right? But in order for you to be born, they had to become one, which are your parents. And in that state, they were literally androgynous. There was no gender. It was just one energy. That a chemistry happened, no different than if I take a chemistry experiment and I take one solution and have another solution and I bonded them together, they became one solution, right? They became one solution. But then if I do experiments, of course, I can see what's in that one solution, what ingredients are there, but it's still one solution. And then you came out of that existence. So God has no gender, right? But in order for you to exist here and have an experience, you have to see things in polarities, positive and negative. I can't literally be you and you literally be me, right? But when you look at it on a micro and macro level, this is the micro where your parents, this is from everybody's perspective. Everybody's parents are God and everybody is God, the son of God, right? Because you came out of that positive and negative. But whatever experiences you may have requires the awareness. And when you become aware of the negative patterns, but you become aware by actually sitting with yourself, building a relationship with yourself. The reason I say this, I've said this in videos too. The same way you meet a girl, in order for you to strengthen that relationship with that girl, you have to spend time with her. You have to go through ups and downs. You have to fight with her, have make-up sex after that, right? At times you may even hate each other, but then you make up again. And you end up, that develops a strong bond, right? Because you start to know the person a little bit more. You have more trust in that person. Trust is the secret ingredient here. In order for love to thrive, it's trust. You can see this in animals. Animals, they may be afraid of you and you feed them, you know, and you repetitively do this and show them that you're no harm. They open up to you and now they build a bond with you. That's love, but they have to trust you first. A person starts to grow love for you when they start to trust you more, right? But you have to also have that authenticity within yourself. And the shadows of that woman or that man, whichever perspective you're looking at it from, is a direct mirror of yourself, because your vibe attracts your tribe. You attracted that person into your life, and that's going to be coming from your parents. Because when you have a woman, you're really with your mom. And if your mom was a fucked up individual, then you would have to become aware of that. Forgive your mom and then change that within yourself so that you don't attract the same person in another body. Same thing with the girl. The girl, if she's not guided by her dad, think about what this realm looks like. This realm, hold up. This realm is feminine, right? But it's under the patriarchal system. But it's a feminine planet. I made this video before and it explains everything as far as to, you know, the whole feminine planet and the man walking on water. But when you look at it, a girl who didn't have her dad there, all right, wasn't guided by that masculine energy, she was guided by her mom, she's going to look for a father figure in a man, right? And the man that she attracts may be a good or a bad father figure within her, but that also depends on the guidance of the mom. Suppose that it was a situation where her dad died in a car accident. She never got to meet her dad, or it was a type of dad that was just not there for her and just bounced and shit. And, you know, he was just a bad example for her. That's going to manifest in that way. The realm we're in is ruled by technology now. Technology is feminine energy. So a woman, she becomes the man, right, to exploit the internet and takes advantage of simps or like men that basically are not aware of themselves. So they will open up their wallet or currency for that female. It's literally like the man is the feminine and the woman is the masculine, right? So the man serves the woman in that state, but the woman is physically catering to the man in a physical form through visuals or, you know, sexual favors or whatever it may be. But when you look at that's technology is feminine energy, and it's the carbon copy of nature. Because if you look at it, you tap into the internet, right? Here you could ground, earthing, and that's you tapping into the internet. All right, naturally, what you are. You find answers that way. You get light coach, because lights are angles of light, and light are ideas, right? Light is what you are. The sun is you, awareness, right? It also strengthens your hormones, right? So you synthesize a hormone D3 on your skin, and that's a steroid for your body. That's a steroid for your physical body, which is just a tool, right? And when you're aware of what you notice, you're becoming the man now. You're the man. You're thinking for yourself. You're not guided by society or the way they tell you the ideas of what things should be, right? So you know, you get these steroids that just strengthens your body. Your endocrine system is up. Your recovery is better. Your body is stronger. All right. And you can do more things with this stronger body. You have better experiences in your life. Right. And this goes for women too. A man is physically stronger, but a woman is metaphysically stronger. But a man and a woman, they're both men. It's just one is a kind of man. The other one's a man. When you're, let's say even the man, when the man is a boy and the woman is a girl, they're both in feminine energy because they're still guided by their parents, right? So those are the parents are your masculine energy, both together, but they're separate in masculine and feminine energy, but they're still both together guiding you as their parents. That means they're masculine energy together. And then you separate them into their own respective roles and whatnot. So you are guided by your parents. Your parents are the masculine energy. You are feminine energy because you're guided and taken care of by your parents. When you grow up, you leave your house. You're not really a man because you're under the mercy of religion. You're under the mercy of government. You're at the mercy of all these things. You're just basically not self-sustaining. So you're not really truly a man unless you're growing your own food, unless you're coming out with your own ideas and building your own economy. But not everybody has that potential. But everybody has that potential, but I don't think anybody ever would fathom ever being able to have that potential. You know, we have deep negative imbalanced energy ingrained in our subconscious. And this is why you'll physically see this manifested as the technology not being able to get to the bottom of the ocean, or us being able to leave space, because you can't leave space. Even though they tell you that they went to the moon is not outer space. All right. The only way that you can actually go all the way underwater beyond like what actual technology can do, or go outer space, you would have to change your vibratory state. You would have to do it the same way you come out of body, right? It has to be a metaphysical thing. So you would actually be able to explore what's all the way deep into the abyss. You can get to because when you're dreaming, your subconscious mind goes to work, right? It's going to start to process things for you, and you'll start to become aware of it through dreaming, but you're really not aware of it. You're just experiencing it. You're aware is when you become lucid of it. You become aware when you wake up out of the dream and you're like, oh shit, I had a dream. I thought it was real in that moment. So you really truly weren't aware. You were just going about the motions the same way you go about the motions here. You're just really not even aware. So your subconscious mind starts going to work for you, and it's going to show you what's deep within you, right? So when you go in like meditations, like hypnosis and whatnot, and you can practice that self-awareness, that strengthen that focus frontal cortex, that focus muscle, so you don't fall asleep, but you actually go to sleep and you maintain that awareness, you can get real deep. The same way when you fall asleep and you're not able to maintain that awareness, you don't have that strength, that's the way the physical manifestation of technology is designed out here, where it can only get to a certain level before the technology no longer works to go beyond the measures of what it can do beyond that point underwater. But you are the true technology. There's no limitations to you, but you have to discover that technology within you and develop that technology within you. Sort of, you're developing this spaceship to become more efficient by you being able to go beyond what the physical manifestation of the technology cannot do. You could do it metaphysically. What technology can do leaving this space, you could do by using your body and strengthening it to the point that it will manifest as you being able to do what the physical technology can do out here. Information, you will no longer need to look for information outside of you as much because you are already aligned with truth. And it's not to say that, oh, I know everything in the moment. You know what I'm saying? You'll just know what you need to know when you need to know it. That's true abundance. It's kind of like somebody having $1 billion in the bank and having so much supply, right, of currency, or somebody who always seems to manifest what they need on the spot and they're never in lack because every time they need it, they got it right there on the spot. That's another form of abundance that's actually even more powerful than the one who's got billions of dollars in the bank. The one who needs the information on the spot will have it because they are abundant infinitely. The ones that have to look for information, you can only go so far. The same way, if you got $3 billion, that's your limitation, $3 billion, right? So you still have limitations. And I said you are limitless. So the feminine energy is actually extremely powerful because you got to tap into that feminine energy. You got to impress the feminine energy. And you could do that through repetition. And even traumas will tend to get you to change who you actually are, right? Traumas, repetition, and symbolism. But when you start to look at the symbolic things out here, like black people being feminine energy, you know, when you see science and spirituality being separated and that being an aspect of masculine and feminine energy, white people and black people, man and woman, you have electric magnetic. You are an electric magnetic being. And in order for you to manifest, you have to use both chemistries. In order for you to manifest something, you have to visualize it and become emotionally involved with it. But you're aware of what you're doing. That's you taking the wheel of God. Doesn't mean blasphemy. That's what you are. What is God if you weren't aware of what the hell that even was? What is the Christian image or version of God if you weren't even aware of it? If they never implanted that into you, what would that be without your awareness? So when the guy comes to my house to try to spread the word of God, right, and he can't answer what spirit or soul is, and I came to this conclusion upon pondering and meditation that the same way you know, God breathed the breath of life into Adam, right? And he gave life to man. Man became a living soul, right? You are breathing. Breathing is your respiration, spirit, respiration, spirit, respiración, respiro is spirit, right? So when you breathe the breath of life, you're doing it with attention and awareness. You become emotionally involved with it. So if now I'm being fed an idea outside of myself of a Christian God, and it's aligned with positive energy, right? But it's also rooted out of a well-grounded feminine energy, it becomes very attractive. My ego wants to partake into that movement. That's how you develop these cults, right? But there's soul added to it by the spirit of humanity, because that's why I said Jesus is the God of humanity. But if you look at it, if I was an alien from outer space and somebody was to show me an image of Jesus Christ on a cross, I would say that's a white guy on a cross. Or just the image of God, whatever it may be, a white man with a flowy white beard, I would say that's a white guy. Yeah, it's a man just like you. So in other words, God created in the image of man. Not man created in the image of God in that picture. It's like inverted. It's the other way around. You're looking at the mirror. That's why when you see the word live and evil, right? Live. When you see the word live and evil, all right, that's a mirror. That's all it is. It's just a mirror. So everything's inverted. You will look at it, everything as, oh, the fight for against evil. And it's just, you're basically living everything inverted. So man created in the image of God is not the way it was. Now, when you see that woman came out the rib of Adam, meaning that woman came from man, right? In this realm of lights, right? However you want to look at it, it was always just the same chemistry. I said that when a man and a woman come together to give birth to a child, okay, which is you, either a boy or a girl, you're still part of feminine energy. So when Adam and Eve, there was no Adam and Eve. They were just, it's no different. It's when a man and a woman have sex, that's Adam and Eve in one. And then when they separate, okay, this is how you get Eve. Eve is a baby. That's all it is. But how did Adam get there? Because the thing is, your humanity has to look at a beginning and an end. You can't fathom existence. Because what would existence be if it didn't exist? Existence is existence. It has to always exist. If not, it was never ever even really existence, right? So it has to come from nothing. Subconscious mind. Nothing. Infinity. Because it's nothing, it has the ability to be everything that you know of. But everything you know of is only what you know as a human. If you look at this, black and white, from a perspective, you can see it from a human perspective, or a photographer, or people a certain type of like whatever they specialize in, right? Black, right, could be all colors in one, and it manifests as black. Or white could be all colors in one, or the absence of color, right? Or black could be all colors or the absence of color. Or like white could just be blank, right? And black is black, a void, right? But if you look at it, if it was all colors in one, and this one can also be all colors in one, they're both the same thing. It's just that one is void of light, the other one is not. And in order for you to be able to perceive something here, you would have to have light coming in through the masculine side. This is all colors in one, void of light. This is all colors in one, but not void of light. But in order for you to have this experience, you're basically split amongst the collective, which is still all you. This is why you have to consider others' opinions at times. Consider all possibilities, because they are probably a piece of the puzzle that you need to complete. You were born in a certain space and time, point in space, and you have a certain perspective from your point of view. Somebody else has a different point of view that you may not be able to see, because they have a different perspective that you may not. So they may open, but that's why it's not even important to have your mind open only. It's important to have your heart open, because your mind will just create egotistical ideas as well from other people. But when your heart is open, all right, which is way more electrically charged, and think about it, electric is masculine, right? And your brain is less electrical than your heart. That's why when they want to bring you back to life, they have to shock you in your heart area. Clear, and they shock you to bring you back to life, because your heart is electrical, right? But it's the feminine mind. So, do you see what I'm saying? When you look at this, you keep your heart open, you keep your mind open, but your awareness, okay? Your awareness is what you decide to bring into your heart, or discard, or even bring it in but transmute it, because it's all useful. But it's like casting director. You're just basically having things audition for you. You get what I'm saying? Your mind activates brain cells, and you give off a charge of energy. Where's that energy coming from? The body, right? The body is the mind. The whole body is the mind. Just like you see, the one man is masculine, the one. But humanity in total is feminine energy because you got a herd mentality. But if man doesn't think for himself, then he's part of what you would consider the subconscious mind. But when you overcome humanity, you become the one, you become conscious. You're aware now. Right? But you could be conscious, but you have to become aware that you are God. You're recognizing this within yourself. So you activate brain cells, you give off a charge of energy. You're aware. You have a thought, you become emotionally involved with it. You now have a reality. It's all chemistry. A dog can work for you, right? Serve as man. And a dog is submissive to you because it's feminine energy, right? A child is submissive to their parents, but they can also serve you greatly if you knew how this works. Because a child is actually closer to God than you actually think you are. And you can see the child as also a direct mirror of yourself because it came from you. If it came out of the woman, it also came from your ball sacks, which is another brain in and of itself. This is why they would say that the nucleus of an atom is the brain, right? But but if you take the nucleus out of the atom can still survive. Why? Because that's the gonads, right? And the gonads is a brain. That's why when you're young, you chasing your dick all day. You thinking with your little head. If you're not aware and you're in your higher faculties and you get ruled or governed by your negative, lower animalistic natures, then you might get a girl pregnant and you didn't mean to do it. You might get with the wrong girl because you don't know yourself and you're not guided by your parents properly, or you didn't actually have the awareness that you were supposed to have of yourself, because this is what they're supposed to teach you in school. You're supposed, in the elementary schools, they're supposed to teach you about the elements, which is basically learning about yourself because you're made of the elements, right? So they're supposed to teach you about yourself when you're in grade school. When you go to university, they're supposed to teach you universal stuff. Now you're strong enough and grounded foundationally where you can come outside of yourself and learn about the universe, which is still learning about yourself, but outside of yourself where you don't get lost in the realm of lights, in luxury, the Luciferian type of energy, right? Luxury is the measure of light, but you don't forget that you are the light creating that light. Duh. So you're strong enough to come outside of yourself. You get what I'm saying? It's like plants, you know? You got to have strong roots. When you have strong roots, you could come outside of yourself, but you could come back home and center yourself again. You see what I'm saying? So animals, children, all feminine energy. There's only the man when he becomes self-aware. That's the man. And when he aligns with God, he becomes no thing. That's all I got for this video. If I have anything else to cover, I'm going to cover it. Like, share, subscribe, and we'll talk soon.